Let's talk about I Saw the TV Glow. I Saw the TV Glow is a horror film directed by Jane Schoenbrunn, which was released in 2024. The director, country, and year a film was made is critical. The three most important things in learning how to look into the subtext of a film. So, the director, Jane Schoenbrunn, is non binary. The country it was made in is the United States. And the year it was made is approximately 2023 considering it was released in 2024. So, with all of those three things combined, the lens we're going to be looking at this film through is queer and trans identity. Since we're pinpointing the production time of this movie to be around 2023, it is worth noting that in 2023 in the United States, over 500 bills were introduced targeting transgender people, including medical care, ability to change legal names and gender markers, access to public restrooms, and the ability to play sports. While that is all on top of mind, I would like to point out medical care. Owen's mom dies of an ongoing battle with cancer. Ability to change legal names and gender markers. Maddie keeps calling Owen Isabel. Access to public restrooms. The second to last scene of the movie is Owen in a public restroom cutting his chest open to reveal his true identity, like what's inside. And ability to play sports. The last time Owen sees Maddie is on a football field, and the first time we see Isabel is on a football field. Anyways, this film shows us two sides of a queer coming of age. So, on one hand, we have Maddie, who represents a queer person that accepts their identity, leans into it, and goes on to live life as their true self. On the other hand, we have Owen, who represents a queer person that does not do that and shoves it deep, deep down, repressing it, and going on to live the nuclear family, cis, heteronormative lifestyle that America deems normal. So let's start with Maddie. My microphone died. Sorry. The first time we see Maddie, she is sitting on the ground underneath a bulletin board that reads, "Greetings from Void High." One of Merriam-Webster's definitions of the word void is a feeling of want and hollowness. Maddie reading the pink opaque underneath these words points us directly to what she truly wants and the hollowness she feels without it. The pink opaque is a kids' TV show about two girls named Tara and Isabel who share supernatural powers that they use to fight against Mr. Melancholy. What Maddie wants and feels hollow without is to be Isabel and Tara, to live in the pink opaque instead of this void of hollowness that she's living in now. The pink opaque represents identity, a queer identity to be specific. And Maddie and Owen's love of this show is there to represent their longing to be their true selves. Maddie is the one that takes the steps to escape this cis het world that they are living in and into transitioning into their true identity. Maddie has accepted her identity early on, or at least parts of it. She bluntly tells Owen that she likes girls, but liking girls is only one piece of the puzzle. Gender identity is the light at the end of the tunnel, and Maddie wants to run toward that light and actually become who they truly are. She even tells Owen when she's talking about them running away, running towards that light, that staying there would literally kill her. And that is true because she would be repressing her identity for the rest of her life, effectively killing who she really is. When we see Maddie 10 years later, they tell Owen that they discovered that they really are Tara from the pink opaque and that they've been living in the pink opaque since the last time that they saw each other. They originally ran away to a different town and started to lead the same repressing life, just in a new town under a new name, until they paid a burnout stoner to bury them alive, and came out reborn as Tara, effectively transitioning into their true identity. And now they've come back to save Owen/Isabel from repressing her identity any longer. The first time we meet Owen, he is sitting in front of a TV screen watching a commercial for the Pink Opaque, specifically where Isabel is walking down a football field in a dress that we will see later, and she's repeating, "They can't hurt you if you don't think about them." We then do a slow dissolve transition to Owen walking underneath a gym class rainbow tarp that looks remarkably like a trans flag. What a crazy coincidence. And when Owen sees Maddie for the first time reading underneath the void board, it still represents the want and desire for true identity the way that it does for Maddie, but Owen is so far away from it, and Maddie has it in her hand. She has it in her grasp, and he keeps wanting to go over to Maddie, but his mom keeps beckoning him away, bringing him further and further away from that true identity. Owen and his mom go into a mock voting booth. It's designed to give kids a false sense of control, and it represents that here as well for Owen, but in a different capacity. It's the illusion that Owen has control over his life and his identity. They can't hurt you if you don't think about them. A false illusion. When Owen finally talks to Maddie, he tells her that he hasn't seen the Pink Opaque, but he has seen commercials for it. This is another example of how Maddie has it in her grasp and Owen is viewing it from a distance. He also says that the reason he hasn't seen it is because it airs past his bedtime, which represents his parents controlling him both in literal bedtime and in societal pressures to stick to the status quo and not break any norms. The only time that Owen ever brings the show up to his parents, his dad said, "Isn't that a show for girls?" End of discussion. Speaking of Owen's father, he is there to represent Owen's masculine side, and his sweet, nurturing mother is there to represent his feminine side. Owen has a very close relationship with his mother, and he is terrified of his father. He won't even ask his father questions. He has his mother ask him the questions as a buffer. Owen is not comfortable or happy or safe with his masculine side. He much prefers his feminine side, but being too afraid of what that might mean and cracking the egg, he sits idle between both identities. When Maddie tells Owen that she likes girls, she asks if he does too, and he says that he is too afraid to look inside and find out. This again shows us how far apart Maddie and Owen are in their journeys. And if you haven't had enough examples of that, here's another. When Maddie runs away, as I said earlier, she's taking the steps to transition into her true identity. Owen, on the other hand, instead of running away as he agreed to do, runs to his friend's mom and has her tell his dad what he's been doing and have him grounded. He still needs a buffer to tell his dad something. He wants the comfort of the safety of this cis-het world, but he's too afraid to stare it directly in the face and realize that he does not fit the mold that has been laid out for him. They can't hurt you if you don't think about them. When Maddie returns to tell Owen of their true identity as Tara, they also tell Owen that his true identity is Isabel and that Mr. Melancholy has trapped them in the Midnight Realm. This leads to reality distorting clips of Owen as Isabel in the dress on the football field that we saw in the opening scene. So we've come full circle, but we really haven't at all. Owen, for a moment, does go with Tara, but then, as he did when they originally were going to run away together, gets scared and runs away from the journey to transitioning. There is another moment where Owen moves towards transitioning into his true identity when he gets sucked into the TV as Isabel, but his dad pulls him out, showing us his masculine side winning again and keeping him in this facade. Owen then goes on to live the ideal cis-het nuclear family American life. He gets a family, he gets a job, he never even moves out of his childhood home. This lasts into his elderly years before he realizes what he's done. When singing at a kid's birthday party, he cracks. He screams that he's dying and for Tara to help him and for his mom. He spent all these years repressing himself, and now he's finally seeing what that means. His true self is dying the way that Maddie said it would when they were kids. This scene is followed by Owen in the bathroom, cutting his chest open to see what's inside, the exact way that he told Maddie he was scared to do when they were kids. When he opens to see what's inside, it's the pink opaque. Just like Tara said, Isabel is his true identity. But it's not that simple. Owen is still terrified. He has built his entire life for decades on this persona, and the thought of veering from that gets scarier and scarier with time. So instead, he goes back and apologizes to all of his coworkers for his outburst. The pink opaque is reality. The reality Maddie and Owen were living in is the midnight realm. Isabel and Tara are their fully transitioned selves, their true identities, who they really are. Maddie and Owen were created by Mr. Melancholy in order to stop Isabel and Tara from interfering with his plans. Mr. Melancholy is a representation of society. He is the heteronormative, cisgendered society that has painted all of these very strict boxes for everyone to fit into. And Isabel and Tara threaten that. Tara escapes, breaks free from the box, and unburies themselves. Isabel doesn't. But there is still time.